Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is a very important video which is covering two things for your exams paper. One is that it is talking more in detail about punctuation with respect to types of sentences. So hence it's a must watch video. Watch this video till the end to see that how different types of sentences are punctuated, and along with this you will know about the conjunctions as well. So don't worry, it's not going to be a too long video, but it is really going to be something really worth watching because you are going to correct your ideas about the types of sentences and the punctuation. And we must not forget that our mark scheme lays great emphasis on the correct use of punctuation and the variety of sentences. Let's see that what are the different types of sentences and how are they punctuated. I'm not going to talk about simple sentence because we already know that a simple sentence is a sentence which has a complete idea and it is ended with either with a full stop or a question mark or an exclamatory mark. That I'm not going to talk about because we already know. My discussion will begin with the compound sentence, and compound sentence is the one which has two independent clauses. Independent clause means that it has a complete sense. So if you don't want to go for the terminology, you may ignore it, but look at that what makes a compound sentence and how is this sentence punctuated. Just know this thing that this is a conjunction, and I'm going to tell you more of such conjunction which form compound sentence, but know that there has to be a complete sentence before it and another complete sentence after it. Complete sentence means that this part should have its own subject and verb. Please know this thing. And the other clause should also have its own subject and verb. Okay? Because sometimes it happens that we leave our sentence incomplete. So the rule of a compound sentence is that it should have at least two or more independent clauses, right? And I'm sure that you have known the idea of clause, that this part should have a complete subject and a verb and a complete sense as well. Now, these are the conjunctions which form a compound sentence. Shortly, we call them fanboys by taking the first word. You can memorize them. The most important thing is that how are these sentences punctuated. So when you memorize fanboys, you can see that before fanboys there is always a comma, okay, and there is a complete sentence before it and another complete sentence after it, right? So these all are the examples with fanboys. You may stop the video here and read it. You can see that after fanboy, the clause is a complete sentence, subject and verb part, and before it also it is a complete sentence. So for compound sentence, the first way to form them is using fanboys, and the punctuation of fanboy is a comma before the fanboy conjunction. Now, let's move on. Another way to make a compound sentence is the use of conjunctive adverb. Okay, the conjunctive adverbs are the adverbs which are used to form compound sentence. Now we know that there has to be a complete sentence before a conjunctive adverb or after a conjunctive adverb if this conjunctive adverb is in the middle. So let's see that what are the conjunctive adverbs. Now this is a big list of conjunctive adverb. You may memorize some of them so that when you know that these are conjunctive adverbs, you can punctuate the sentences correctly. So let's see that how are these sentences punctuated. Be very careful and pay a full attention. The first way to punctuate a compound sentence with the conjunctive sentence is that when conjunctive adverb comes in the middle. When it comes in the middle, so there is a semicolon before it and a comma after it. Okay, you can read the sentence. The police searched the property for hours. However, they found no sign of any illegal activities. Well, student, you must be very careful on the idea that before a conjunctive adverb and after a conjunctive adverb, they are supposed to be a complete sentence. Please make sure that you are not leaving your second sentence incomplete. Okay. So the first way to punctuate sentence with a conjunctive adverb is putting a semicolon before and a comma afterwards. And other way is that you don't use a conjunctive adverb, but you put two independent clauses together and you just put a semicolon, okay? You are just putting a semicolon to join two independent clauses. So this is again a compound sentence, okay? If you don't want to go for learning the terminology, it's fine, but you must learn these conjunctive adverbs so that you can punctuate them correctly. And definitely learning this big list is not possible. You may choose some, say 10 or 15, so that you can use them in your writing and you can punctuate them correctly. Okay, these are some more examples of conjunctive adverbs placed in the sentence, and you can look at the punctuation that there is a semicolon before and a comma before. Okay, and why are we focusing on this thing? Because we are at the same time learning about the types of sentences and the required punctuation. Okay, there is one more thing. If this conjunctive adverb comes in the start like this, since you ask, then after the completion of the first clause, there will be a comma, and then the second clause will come. So clause means over and again. I'm telling that clause means a complete sentence. Okay, so you can see that there are now three ways of using punctuation for compound sentence. The first way is that you are putting fanboys, and for fanboys we have learned the punctuation that before fanboys there comes a comma. The second way is to form a compound sentence using conjunctive adverb, and if conjunctive adverb comes in the middle, then we put a semicolon before it and a comma after it. And if it begins with a conjunctive adverb, then after the first sentence completion there comes a comma. Now the third type of sentence are complex sentences. Now complex sentences, they have a dependent clause and an independent clause. You may simply know this thing, that the part of the sentence which has these types of conjunctions fixed, which are called subordinating conjunction, that part is a dependent clause. And when dependent clause comes in the beginning, there is a comma. Okay, know this thing. Or when the order is reversed, the sentence begins with an independent clause and there is no comma. So first of all, see that these are the conjunctions which form a complex sentence. Again, I suggest that the commonly used subordinating conjunctions can be memorized, so that when you are using them, you are putting them correctly, right? Now look at the example that here in this example, this is a complex sentence and a subordinating conjunction begins the sentence because it was raining. So there is a comma. And then the second clause comes, we went inside. But in this example, this subordinating conjunction comes in the middle, then there is no comma. So I'm sure that this small video has been of great help to you, and you have known this thing, that how different types of sentences can be punctuated to create an effect. And I'm sure that if you watch this video twice or thrice, you pick up my suggestions, you can quite effectively form the types of sentences with correct punctuations. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.